Hello and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Addie, and today we are back with our with a speed build. And before we get too far in, I do want to apologize because I took a weekend off um for my birthday. Some family came out, and so it was just really busy. And I meant to pre-record, but I just didn't that didn't happen. So, I'm sorry that I missed all my uploads last weekend, but we are back. And we are working on a, I think I'm gonna label this like building my dream house or something like that, like a title of that sort. But this is honestly like my favorite style to build in. I would want to live in this house. I did make this house wheelchair accessible, um, so it does have elevators instead of stairs. And technically, the elevators don't fully work. I'm not really sure why they did this, but because it just makes life harder for everyone. But basically, the elevators work. You just can't go directly from build mode to live mode, or um like you can't save during build mode, or like when you're in build mode. And I'm not really sure why they did that, because like in gameplay, like if you're just playing in this house, it works. So like I don't really get why they chose to make it so that you can't, that like there's build limitations on that, because like to me that just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like what's the point of like I don't know. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. Like what, like you're just making the game inaccessible. You know what I mean? Like what if I want my build to be on a platform, but I don't want stairs? Like, you could do ramps. Like, ramps are not hard. And then if you want to go up like up levels, you can have elevators. Elevators work. The elevators in the game works. It's just that for whatever reason, they've decided that no, you can't do that, because it doesn't, we don't want you to be able to do that. Even though, like, if you, and this isn't just for like accessibility, it's just like practicality, right? Like if you have an elevator that goes all the way up a building, but it doesn't go to the top floor, it just goes to the penthouse, not the top floor of the penthouse. Isn't that stupid? Like imagine you have to get off the elevator and go up a set of stairs to get to your wherever. Like that doesn't make any sense at all. Anyway, that's my rant for right now. Um we are working on the outside of the build. This is not a limited pack build, in case anyone was curious. Um, there's like there's a lot going on here. There are so many packs and everything. So, um, we're just using like every pack that I want and going all out. There's a lot of like greenery that's going on. There's there's a lot of greenery that's going on. Like vines and flowers and stuff that goes on, that's going on like around the windows and things. And then you'll notice that I made the first floor medium wall height, and then I am doing other things right now. Um, that is because all of the like nice doors and things from Realm of Magic, which is where the doors and windows that I wanted to use are they are, what's the word I'm looking for? Medium wall height. So I had to make it medium wall height in order to access those doors and windows. I'm not really sure why they did it. It is kind of nice to have multiple heights of like walls. I just think that it's interesting that they chose to limit the like how you access the stuff, you know. And then another thing that I am doing right now is I am shortening whatever the walls, and putting them back down to small wall height. Normally I build with medium wall height because a lot of my favorite doors and windows are medium wall height, but I decided not to for this build because I felt like this build is sort of um I don't know. I just decided I didn't want to for this one. Um so we have a lot going on right now. I am so sorry. I keep yawning. I am exhausted. Today was a long day. Today was a really long fucking day. So, I'm gonna yawn and I apologize. Um, we are working a little bit on the floor plan now. We have moved inside and the downstairs is primarily like a study and living space. So we've got some bookshelves and some skill building items. There's the gem cutting table and a piano and just a couple other things. Um, and then there is also um, a couple of bathrooms. There's actually two bathrooms on this main floor because there is zero bathrooms on the middle floor. So I wanted to compensate for that. And I am fiddling a little bit with the wallpaper situation. I love this wallpaper from Crystal Creations. Crystal Creations is by far like the closest thing to my aesthetic that will ever happen in The Sims. And so I love that wallpaper. It's like enough pattern that like it fits. It's not like it's not like blaring like the vintage glamour wallpapers or the get famous wallpapers. It's kind of subtle and it's really nice and it adds like a texture to the wall that you couldn't get otherwise. Um, and then we are moving on to well, I made it like this little tiny entryway and there's a couple of lights in there and a couple of plants. It's really small. Um, but it is in there. And then we are in the like, I don't know which one would be considered formal versus informal. We're in the smaller of the living rooms right now. And we have these bookshelves. I was originally going to do purple and then I was like the walls are purple. I don't think I really want purple walls and purple bookcases. So I changed that and then I also did the purple um the whatever it's called, the gem cutting table, that's what it's going to be called from now on, is was my favorite swatch of it. So I decided to change the wallpaper around that gem cutting table to be not purple. So that wallpaper is from the Maximalist kit. And I really love that kit. That one also is really close to my personal style. Um, and so I loved those kits. Those kits together, I feel like you wouldn't really think of like as being good together, but they actually work a lot, like really well. And then obviously the Realm of Magic windows kind of tie into the Crystal Creations kit, or stuff pack. It's not a kit. And just I don't know, I just love this house. I think it's so pretty. And one thing that I discovered is that there is this stunning portrait. And I particularly love the one with like the person, the one they've got like kind of medium short-ish hair that comes down to like their shoulders. It's black. And it's like straight and they're like wearing I think they're wearing like a black or a blue or red. Yeah, they're wearing black. They're like wearing a black crew neck and like a gold chain. Stunning. That is single-handedly my most favorite piece of artwork in the entire fucking game. I don't know who made that, but they deserve like $3 more. They deserve a fucking raise because they are that piece of art. All of the swatches are beautiful, but that one in particular, just I love that one in particular. It is gorgeous. And then on top of that, we used the Maximalist couch, which actually we used it in the plainest swatch because both the floor and the walls have this like pattern to them. And I felt like adding like a patterned sofa was a little bit much. So we went with the plain one. And then we are getting some clutter in here. I'm really just kind of going all out in all of these. I did get some tools over by the gem cutting table, and we have this particular, um, whatever it's called, lamp. It is my favorite lamp in the entire game. I hate overhead lighting. It fucks up my vision. I don't know what is up with overhead lighting, but it is just nasty. It's so gross. And so I have overhead lighting right now, but I end up getting rid of the overhead lighting because I felt like I like this house. This is like my house. And if I had to pick a house to live in and decorate it, it would not have overhead lighting. Um, so we have these like, I don't know what you would call them, these like big lamps um that kind of are overhead, that kind of have like a overhead lighting feel, but they're not overhead lighting. And they're kind of warm too, right? Like I think that these are really pretty. And then on the living table, or on the living table, on the coffee table, we have a couple of things, and I really wanted a TV, but we didn't really have like wall space for one. So I ended up going with this one. It's just a base game one. And then we're back to decorating the bookshelves. And I am pulling stuff out that I think would look nice. I end up going with this bust. It kind of gives like Greek statue vibes, but in like a more modern with the gold veining. It gives more like it broke, and then somebody thought it would be really cool to put the broken pieces together with like special, like I don't know, like glue and gold. Um, so we have that, and then we do have a couple of candles, and those this is definitely sort of a niche reference, but I grew up in Colorado, and those little giraffes look almost exactly like the little giraffes in front of the Denver Zoo. And those are, I always wanted to lick them. This is me being autistic, but I literally always wanted to eat them. Like those particular giraffes, I wanted to eat them. I wanted to feel them in my mouth. And it's so weird. Like people are like, that is such a weird thing to say. Like you can't even like these things are like life-size giraffe Like they're like life-size giraffe statues. They just happen to be kind of crinkly, and I wanted to and like metal, and I wanted to eat them when I was little. It's sort of like when you want to eat marbles, and I think that that also is a neurodivergent thing. Like our brains, our little goblin brains are just like, ooh, shiny, must eat, and so you just feel this urge to like eat random shit off the floor, um, or like in life, and not everyone's going to relate to that, and that's okay. You don't need to relate to that. It's probably better if you don't relate to that, but if you do, I'm sorry. Another thing is like glass. I don't know if anyone else like looks at broken glass and goes, crunchy. Like what the fuck is up with my brain? I don't know. I've seen a couple other people like in like online talk about it a little bit. So I'm like, okay, well it's not just me. So at least I'm not like that weird. At least it's not like a only me problem. But yeah, definitely kind of an odd sensation, let me tell you. So we are actually in like the formal living space. So I guess, yeah, this is like the formal living space. It goes out to like a little patio. That patio does not have anything on it. It's just kind of pretty, you know. I liked how it looked on the outside, so I added it. Um, this has a couple of things. It has an English tea set, and then it has like a mug and a book and a plant and candle and stuff. This is where the piano is. There's a little terrarium for some crystals. It's kind of cute, kind of cozy in here. I was gonna put some chairs, and then I realized that like there is no space in this house, so I didn't. Um, and then I was gonna add another painting. I decided to add this one, and I decide to add the I think I decide to do the lady in the like gold dress, and then I changed the other one in the like study area to the lady with red hair. Um, and so, yeah, we are upstairs now and we are working on the kitchen. And the kitchen actually ends up being kind of small. Um, the kitchen is literally like 3 by 4. It could literally be the size of um, like a nice sized bathroom. So, for that, I apologize, but, it's got everything you need. It's not like extra cramped. Like I think in a worst case scenario, you could fit it in like a 3 by 1, you know? You could fit all of your needs in a 3 by 1 square. Um 3 by 1 square. That's not what that means. Like a 3 by 1 space. Um but yeah, so this is actually kind of spacious. And what is the purpose of the downstairs? The downstairs is the most public. I do not want random people in my house, right? Like, I don't know how many people have had this experience where like the poor Mormon missionaries like knock on your door and they're like, "Have you heard of Jesus? Would you like a teaching about his love or whatever the fuck it is that they say?" And you, Lord help you if you let them in. Um, but like let's say you let them in. I don't want them in like my personal living space, you know? Like if I want to cozy up and watch TV, that's what the formal sitting room is for, okay? I would put the Mormon missionaries in the formal sitting room, and then or like even in the informal sitting room, I guess. And then over here we've got like a more intimate space. So like if you go in the elevator and like you come up here, you're a friend of mine, you know, like friend, family, whatever. Um, Downstairs mostly just has enough sitting places for people to hold conversation and not for people who are like close, right? Like this is the area for people who are close, not for people who like come to your door and are like, "Do you want to hear the good news about Jesus?" I know way too much about the Mormon church to ever join. Um, it's a little bit chaotic. I would not trust a man who was imprisoned for fraud to tell me what to do with my future. Um, if you want to learn more about that, there are a lot of like ex-Mormon creators. My personal favorite is Cults to Consciousness. The host, it's like a podcasty style vibe. But the host, her name is Shalise, and she's ex-Mormon. Her husband is not ex-Mormon, but she's ex-Mormon. Her whole family is ex-Mormon. And she sort of like talks about it. She sort of left nonchalant, and I don't want to tell you all her story because she deserves that, but really kind of interesting. And then also, if you haven't heard of Mormon Stories, highly recommend that one as well. For a similar reason, it's the same kind of vibe. But yeah, so don't look into the Mormon Church. But if you find it interesting, those are my top two. I tend to go in and out of phases of like special interests, and for a while it was one of my special interests was the Abrahamic faiths. So Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And I in that phase d- um got way too deep into the Mormon hole. My one of my best friends is Mormon, and I never really understood it. Still don't really understand it. It's definitely like Mormons, not weird. Mormonism, definitely weird. Like hella weird. Like do not go there. Do not go there. It costs $6 billion with a billion dollars to make a single fucking temple. Like you could be you could be paying your missionaries to do mission work for you, and yet you're over here building temples. Nah. Mm-mm. Anyway, we're let's talk about the bill some more. We are upstairs on the second floor now, and we are kind of cluttering things up. I wanted to I wanted it to feel kind of lived in. I wanted it to feel a little bit like, I don't know, comfortable. I'm not really like I wouldn't say that I am a neat sim. Like if I were to make my sim self, which if you want me to make my sim self, leave a comment down below. But if I made my sim self, I would not classify them as a neat sim, right? Like that's not really my vibes. I'm not a neat person. Not that I'm messy, it's just that like I'm neurodivergent. And neurodivergent people have this problem where we have our things and we know where our things are. And when we move them, it becomes infinitely more difficult to find our things. So if I'm going to clean, everything is going to go in its home. And its home does not necessarily mean it's put away. Different things. Put away means you can't see it. It's in its home means I can find it. Now we are upstairs, like the very top upstairs. We are in the bedroom, and there is a lot going on up in here, but I love this room. This is my favorite room in the whole house. And I'm using these wainscoting thingamabobs from the I think it's the Decor to the Max kit. There are too many kits for me to keep track of who's from what now. But I think they're from Decor to the Max, and they are gorgeous. They're stunning. I love this wallpaper. It's so pretty. It sort of gives similar vibes to the new wallpaper from like Love Struck, but like not, you know. Um Very gorgeous, very stunning. We are popping back downstairs because I'm realizing if you want to play in this house, there is no reason to play in this house. There is no skill building items except for books, which is very realistic, but for my house, like my personal place does not have an easel. We don't have a chess table. I have a desk. My desk is very nice. And then I also have a like a painting place, but it's not an easel. It's just like a place where I paint. And that's it. That's all that I really have. So we do have like a little area for a desk, and we do have an easel, but that's pretty much like the only skill building items we have, except for like the norms, like cooking and the appliances for handiness and stuff like that. But we don't really have like, I'm not a gardener. If I were to build my mom's dream home, that would be massive. Let me know if you think I should build my mom's dream home. But if I did do that, it would be massive. There would be plants literally fucking everywhere. My parents love herringbone everything. So, there would be like herringbone floor, herringbone tile in the bathrooms, like everywhere. And so, um, I don't know what the point of all of that was, but basically, I am not like a very visually skilled person. My skills are usually like drawing, painting, writing. I work as a medical assistant. I don't know, like normal stuff, not like gardening or let me work on my car in the garage sort of thing. Like that's not me. I'm also not a mural person. I did want to put a couple of skill building items out here. So we've got like the carving table. That's not its name, but that's what it's going to be right now. We've got a couple of easels, or we've got an easel and some books and stuff. Um, and then upstairs we have the um vanity and things. And oh, we do have a meditation stool up here as well. And then we're finishing off with the upstairs most bathroom, the bathroom on the third floor. I was gonna do a basement, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to do a basement. Like what would I put down there? Wine? Sims doesn't have wine. I'm sorry, nectar. I don't make nectar. My mom makes nectar. Um, my mom is like living for cottage living in Horse Ranch right now. Um, she was a simmer way back in the beginning of time. No, I'm just kidding. She got into The Sims. Well, that's not true. My aunt is younger. My aunt got into The Sims way more than my mom ever did. And then I got hugely into The Sims when my mom was like, "Hey, there's this game. Do you want to play it?" And I was like, "What do you do?" And my mom was like, "Oh, well, you just, you make a person and you play as the person." And I was like, "That sounds really fun. Let me try." And it was The Sims 1. Um, and she was like, and so we put it on our computer from 2006, um and was it even 2006? I don't think it was even 2006. I don't know what year it was. All I remember is that I was very little at the time. Um, and so I was like, this is cool. I want to do this. I like this game. And I made my little person who looked like me but didn't actually look anything like me because it was The Sims 1. Um, but yeah, and then I made her a little boyfriend and his name was Noah. And I remember that because I was very obsessed with the name Noah at the time, which is funny because one of my best friends from high school was named Noah. Anyway, um so I yeah, so I I made her and I made her little boyfriend, and they had so many kids because in The Sims 1, if you aren't familiar, um it's wild to think that like there are children who are playing The Sims 3 and The Sims 4 that never played The Sims 1 right now. Anyway, if you're not familiar, um, The Sims 1 did not allow you to age, so generational play was not something that you did. Um, and so um your children just never grew up. Like they went from baby, like newborn, like equivalent of a newborn, to a child, and then they just stayed a child for all in forever and all eternity. Um, and so, and your like parents never grew up, and they never like they were young adults equivalently for time and all eternity. And so like that was just how you played. And so I had children and lots of children and everybody. Yeah, it was great fun. Um and then I got The Sims 3. And The Sims 3 was so cool because I skipped The Sims 2. We didn't like The Sims 2. But we did get The Sims 3. And The Sims 3 was really cool because your people could die. That was so cool to me at like, how old would I have been? Like 9 or whatever. I don't know. Time blindness is bad right now. However old I was when I got The Sims 3. And it was super cool to me. Like your parents would grow up into elders and they could die of old age, and your children would grow into an adult and then they could grow. And yeah, I had this whole family, and I could never make it past the first generation because um our computer was old as fuck. But and when I say it was old as fuck, I mean it was like first desktop that was not shaped like a box. Um it had the storage of like a 2001 cell phone. Like it was tiny. It could not survive. Anyway, so I was playing on there, and I could never make it past the first generation because of that, and it would always like die and crash and delete my save, and it was like a whole thing. And I always got super sad, but the I will never forget my oldest. He was my favorite, and he was a painter. And they lived in like a ranch style house in Sunset Valley, which is like the base game world for The Sims 3. Um, yeah, that was good life. And then I played The Sims 3 for a long time. I played it for like 7 years, I think. And then in 2018, I got The Sims 4. So I was like late to the game, but um yeah. So that's my gaming experience. Don't know how we got to this point. If you are still here, thank you. Um, I'm sure you're still here because you also have an obsession with The Sims. Anyway, we are working on the outside and like actually working on like landscaping and stuff. And I loved the idea of these crystals. In the first game, in the first dream home build that I did, I had crystals everywhere because we didn't really have the crystal creation vibes. So, and it wasn't even announced. That was like a year and a half ago. And so, we didn't even have the vibes, and so I just didn't. So I had to make it work, and now we have it. So I don't feel like I really need it inside because there's just it's better vibes in there. Um, but yeah, so we are working on the outside, and I love this build. I would want to live here. If I could teleport this to any place in the real world, I don't know where I would put it, but damn, I want to live there. Like it would be solar powered, it would be accessible. I wouldn't have to go upstairs and fuck up my legs every time. And my cat is screaming behind me, so I apologize if you can hear him. And it's just good. Like I don't understand why the Sims team decided to make um elevators like basically unusable because you can't go in and out of build mode directly, but yeah. So we have that, and then I am working on making a ramp, and a ramp is not actually functional, by the way. In order to use this build, you will need to delete the faux ramps and then replace them with stairs. But I cannot go upstairs, so I decided to make faux ramps using some roofs. Um, let's see here. We are finishing up the build. We are getting some terrain paint and stuff. I'm realizing that there is not enough space right there for me to walk, and so I'm moving things, and then we are just like layering some terrain paint and stuff, and we are coming to the end of the video now. So if you liked this, if you would like and subscribe, that would really mean a lot, and I will see all of you on Saturday. Bye.